time to cut you to the heart, flex on occasion. It's the strangest of the salvation. You see it, believe it, amazing. Them chariots coming invasion since the creation. War, mind, Lord, bless the general. Greatest nation, eat them unequivocal. Bombs dropping, buddy, cause it's biblical. Start shit, now it's time to finish. Whoa. Said he won't vote, he looking for smoke. So, we give him some more. We want the world, we breaking them down. Taking the kingdom, can't wait for the crown. We want the world, we breaking them down. Taking the kingdom, can't wait for the crown. It's the end of the world. Ain't the beginning of ours. It's the end of the world. Ain't the beginning of ours. It's the end of the world. Ain't the beginning of ours. We want the world, we breaking them down. Taking the kingdom, can't wait for the crown. It's the end of the world.
I can't wait for our kingdom to start and for there to be finished. Get rid of all of their idols and lying religions. Look for the crown like an Edris. Hey, this that crown talk. Wisdom of Solomon 5 talk. This that second Edris 6 and 9. We want eyes talk. It's your time to end and my time begin. It's our time to win. Away with the sin. You know what it is. Rejoice with my kin. See that is why we repented. Go to the streets, I can see myself in it. The city is bright, the kingdom of light. A wonderful sight past the angels, the inner light. I need 1,000 years of labor. Sit on my throne with my savior. Try to know wine, press alone. He bring pain like major. You think the nations is equal to us? TK Kirkland, who raised you? Flex on occasion, my God a racist. That's why we moving with patience. It's been a long time coming. I spent my whole life running. Now that I'm 10 toes down and established my faith on 100. Woe to the nations, my king will race them. You know they gotta be punished. Jeremiah 25. Yeah, you know they gon' fry. Whoa. Said he won't vote, he looking for smoke. So, we give him some more. We want the world, we breaking them down. Taking the kingdom, can't wait for the crown. We want the world, we breaking them down. Taking the kingdom, can't wait for the crown. It's the end of the world. Ain't the beginning of ours. It's the end of the world. Ain't the beginning of ours. It's the end of the world. Ain't the beginning of ours. We want the world, we breaking them down. Taking the kingdom, can't wait for the crown. It's the end of the world.
Test, test. There it is.
Check.
Yeah.
Check.
We in the building.
Yeah.
We in the building.
This is going to be beautiful.
Nehemiah Squad.
It's going to be a beautiful day.
Hit the bomb! Come on,
Wow. Hey. Hey, Shalom family. Most High in Christ bless. This is the Nehemiah Squad. Okay, and we're going to reintroduce ourselves. I am Captain Zakai.
Hey. What's up, Officer Shem?
Officer Judah.
Officer Jadiel.
All right. We're sharing mics. This is real crazy because, you know, the audio department, they're nuts. All right. Hey, put up that thumbnail. Okay. So today's show is called Black Europe. Cover up the forgotten names of the Dark Ages, okay?
Right.
And we were looking forward to this show,
Yes.
okay, because we spent a lot of time talking about the Dark Ages, right? And the Moors and how they, ruled Europe from, 700s all the way through into the 1400s and so forth. And now we have an actual scholar who can back us up on this, right? Because sometimes you people don't believe, you know what I mean? We put stuff up, you don't believe it. So now we had to bring on a scholar, okay? So Dr. Marie Charles is with us all the way from the UK. Doc, where are you? There she is.
Hello.
Hey. Hey. How you doing, Doc? Good to meet you.
I'm good, thank you, but please forgive me if I'm a little bit delayed because I'm now in my 13th hour of research and study and focus, so I'm a little bit fatigued. So please forgive me.
No problem. We're gonna forgive you because you're here.
Yes,
you're here with us. And you know what's funny? I'm gonna show you a book right now, right? This is called The Dictionary of Foundational Black British Surnames. The People, Places, and Their Primacy, Part 1, right? Now, what's funny about it is, and when I say funny, I don't mean funny and haha, but over here now they talk about foundational Black Americans, right? That's a term that's been thrown around, bandied about for the last year and change, 2 years. And now we're seeing something that a lot of people didn't realize, that a lot of these surnames were Black people's names. I just want to Can we show this on the camera? I want to bring a close up to it. All right, and we're gonna give the link to for people to buy this book, because when I first saw it, I was excited. Okay, I held the book. I didn't personally own it at the time, and I held the book, and I was like, okay, can I take this home and stay with it a while, right?
Get to know that book.
Because there was some beautiful information in there, and then everybody was like, where'd you get that book? Where'd you get that book? And people started ordering it. So this is great. So we want to go through a little bit. So we're gonna hand it over to you, Doc. How did you start? What made you start to go through this research? Like you said, you've been researching already 13 hours today alone. But what made you go after this information and pull this up?
Well, I would have to go back to the beginning. My initial research, well, let me just backtrack a little bit. After completing my PhD, I actually created a pedagogical curriculum program for the school that I was teaching. I did a case study over 6 months and embedded myself in the school with the students. Now, the curriculum program that I created, devised and wrote, it didn't go anywhere near what we're talking about today. Otherwise, they wouldn't have let me in the school.
Oh, absolutely. That sounds right. Yep.
So, we need to get that clear. So it was initially about the original populations around the planet, and I was introducing that to the students. Now, that was 7 years ago, but the work that you have in front of you today is part of a 10-year longitudinal project.
Wow.
So you can imagine what has been amassed over the 10 years. It's a tremendous amount of evidence that I have collated over the 10 years. And so it's the pedagogical bedrock of changing curriculum ideas that seeded the project that you have in front of you now. So that as I was researching, particularly in Britain, the founding populations from thousands of years ago, I said to myself, with that critical lens, that if they were here as the founding populations, then they must have had their original surnames.
Right.
You see, but what they want us to believe, and I say they, the dominant power structure that controls our schooling systems, is that, okay, we'll let you have that you were here foundationally, but then you had to wait for later Europeans, people who classify themselves as white, later Europeans to come along and then name you. You see, that doesn't make sense.
Right, absolutely.
It's crazy. So I was able to have that foundation of those founding populations. And then, because there are 20 issues that lay all of that history out, and then as a separate series, my dictionary is now showing the readers those individuals, those populations with their surnames as the originators of those surnames. If that makes sense, that's kind of a convoluted way to go around it.
No, it makes plenty of sense. And in looking in this book, right? I looked in. It's fun. Okay, well, I'm not going to give it. I'm not going to give myself up. But when I looked in this first edition, or the first part one of your dictionary, right, I saw what we would call our slave names, right? Because we're looking at the slave names because we came from taken from Africa, right? Brought into the Americas, to the Caribbean, all over. Then we had these names. But I saw my slave name in the book, right? Which I knew about from before. I'm not going to say what it is, but I know it's from Scotland. I saw that. And years ago, this had to have been about 15 years ago, I was doing a search on that name, and I found a coat of arms with that name and black people on it. And ever since then, I've never seen it again. Then I come in your book, and it's sitting there. And I said, wow, 15 years ago, I'm telling you, I tried to look all over for it. I couldn't find it again. But it's in your book, and you broke it down and everything, and to see this stuff, and it's not just because it's my name, but it gives us understanding, right? In I think it was part 2 or part 3, you talked about the Irish, about the blacks who were put into slavery from Ireland, and all their names are there. You see all the McKinnons and the McKinleys and the O'Hara. I'm throwing names out, O'Connor and all. These are names that we associate with white people strictly.
Yeah.
But now you go in and do this research. You said it was you and others, but how did you guys? And I know you went into what started it, but how did you have the wherewithal to continue to dig and find? How did you even find it? That's the point.
Well, having a PhD actually gives you a lot of methodological know-how.
Okay.
And you know where to look, and you know which research disciplines to utilize. Now, my dominant methodology is onomastics. Now, onomastics is the study of anthroponyms, which are humans, and their names. It's actually quite a beautiful methodology, and it's massively underutilized because it's usually in the wrong hands of individuals. But when you come with when you come with a pure heart and a pure intent, which is to actually rescue and recover the history,
right,
you're put into a complete flow state. And I know I did mention that this is part of a 10-year. I mean, I've been collecting this evidence for 10 years now, and it's now showing itself in the publications, but it's constant. I'm in a constant flow state. And when you are recovering bloodline memory, because that's what it is, essentially, bloodline memory, you are propelled and you just keep going.
Right, absolutely. So here's a good question, right? And we pretty much have an understanding of what the answer might be, but we would love to hear it from you, because with all of your digging, you would have to have found, why was it hidden in the first place, right? Why is this information hidden from Black people? Okay.
Well, if I may,
please.
As a researcher, you have to have so much evidence that you never put your head over the parapet. You never come out unless you have overwhelming evidence. Now, I don't just concentrate in England. I have, if I was able to show you, I have thousands of the original Black Germans.
All right.
The French, Belgium, the people from Belgium.
Right.
The Netherlands, Holland, Czech Republic. I basically have mapped out the whole of Europe, but I can only have that position of authority and confidence and assertion because I have all of these names, these crests here that fill my home.
Right.
It's kind of crazy. People have stopped coming to see me now because they cannot get through each room.
Right. Oh man, listen. I would love to have been in the UK because we'd be coming over.
Right. For sure.
We'd be coming over. We'd be coming over. So now with all this, go ahead. I'm sorry. No, please.
So excuse me if I may. When I was at school as a 7-year-old, I have a twin brother as well, and we were sat in the classroom as the only Black children.
Right.
And the first thing the teacher said was, "We're going to learn about slavery today." And all the children looked. I mean, people can recount the same tale as me. There's nothing unique about that.
Right.
But as a 7-year-old, to have your identity reduced as that was the start of your history,
that's the point.
It stays with you, those seminal moments.
Yes.
And so let's project 40 odd years into the future. I didn't know that I would be putting all of that history back together again. And it's those moments that you think, as a former teacher in the classroom, that our children, they need to have true history being taught to them, you see.
That's the point.
It's so critical.
No, that's the point. And once we have our hands on that kind of history, it changes the complete outlook of the child, right? Like you said, I remember being in school, the same thing. You hear about slavery, and then it seems like that's where you started. Right? Like you had no understanding. You weren't smart at all. Your people came here, and then you learned the ways of your oppressor, and then that's how you became what you are today. That's pretty much what's put out there. We do youth violence outreach and things like that. When we bring forward the what are the words? Not just the portraits, but the tapestries. We don't have the live tapestries, but the pictures of them. When we bring that and show the Moors and the castles, like you said in Germany, right, fighting against the wildlings or the wild ones, right, which are those white people. We have, and I'm pretty sure you have the same picture as well. When we show that and show the year, and they say the year 12 something, the year 13 something, and we say, listen, this is your people in the castle. They're not outside trying to storm and steal. They're in there being robbed by somebody else. And you show that throughout all the, we literally see the children just raise up in their seat. They're like, what is going on here? Yeah. And even some of the adults, they're like, what is happening? It changes a person immediately. But
everything.
Right.
And also, just to add to that, when you're talking about the castles,
right,
what is quite unique about these publications is that I actually show the original Black nobility.
Yes.
So a lot of people are not ready for this, and I accept it, but I actually document and show that the ruling elites in royalty, William Conqueror, not the Conqueror, but Conqueror, because that was his surname, Edward, King Henry I, Rufus, these are all Black royalty.
Right.
Now, a lot of people are not ready for this information. Part 3, which I'm now currently attempting to conclude on, which is going to be about 250 pages, it's even more powerful because I utilize primary source documentation. And people are not going to be ready for this, but all of the royals were Black.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You see.
And this is the beauty of it. And I pull this one up obviously because this is your last name, right? Right? So Charles, and look, and showing you that where it says Carly, right? That was another form of Charles, but in Italy. And we show that as well. Like in Italy, you have the Pucci family and all these different families. All of them were Black. They still have those carvings in the buildings are still there, right? And so these are great. I mean, these books are beautiful. Every child needs to have one. Like I'm telling you, everybody needs to order these books and give them to the kids and have them on the shelf. I'm telling you. But and so when you found out about your name, did it did it give you any special significance, or was it just like, hey, this is just part and parcel of what you were looking at?
If I'm really honest, deep down, I always kind of knew.
Right. Mm-hmm. Right.
I always knew that it was a foundational name. It was an indigenous name.
Right.
And what is so interesting about part 3 is that my work is very iterative. It's very recursive. It keeps coming back and feeding into 1 and 2 to show that it is a real series. So I have now documented that Charles VII, and it's here in part 3, was a very, very Black man.
Right.
And he's part of the Alincourt section that I do on the French elites, but the name is actually connected to Alison, which is de Alison. Okay. And I show the cognates and the variants and how it's related. But that's what's happening, you see. Because onomastics is such a powerful research methodology, once you lock in to the true identity of that person's name, it takes you to other locations and other family members. So logically, because it's always about being logical in all of this, they have overcomplicated something very simple. These are Black families. And so Charles VI, I show And then I've also been led to his father, Charles VI, who's another deeply melanated man, and the primary source evidence is there in part 3. And that's the continuation of Charles. So what I will say is that the current monarch in Britain of Charles III
right,
is, do I say it?
yes, please.
He is.
Please.
He's not legitimate. He's not of the bloodline.
No, and that's what we had learned.
That's the point.
Yeah, that's what we had learned from our elders. We had learned that basically what they did was come in and assume the names and assume the heritage and assume the whole lineage, right? Because who's gonna look back and check? No one looked back because everything was already put out. Listen, you guys are slaves, and we civilized you, and so on and so forth. Then we have excellent individuals, intellectuals such as yourself that are going dig. Boom. Now we have a book. We're like, what? And a lot of the stuff that we have, right? And it's nothing like this. It was found in books that was sitting in libraries that nobody right there in front of everybody. Yep. One of our elders said one time that they were doing a lecture at I want to say either Harvard or I can't remember the school. They went into it was a break. They went into the library, and the history of the Moors was in the library. So they take it out, they bring it, and they start talking again. The people, the students said, "Where did you get that book?" They said, "It's in your library." It's in your library, but nobody knows. Nobody knows. That's why this is so important. Things like this need to be put into a curriculum somewhere. And if not in the normal schools, then within these charters. Well, in America, they call them charter schools. I'm not sure what they call them in the UK. But these special schools, these need to be in there. Go ahead.
You know what's crazy? Me thinking as a young black, so-called black kid, why would I look in those sections?
Right.
Because in my mind, I think of Europe. I think of Dutch and Sweden. I think of white people.
Right.
That's what I automatically think. So when I'm searching for my history, even though it's right there in plain sight, I would never look in that section. I would look in, you know what I'm saying? I would look in the African history or so on and so forth. So like you're saying, when they'll be able to hide things in plain sight because they start us off with slavery. You know, so once I start off with slavery, I think, well, I must be from Africa, not knowing that the first slave ships came from Spain.
Right.
I didn't even put that together. Maybe I should look, a Spanish history or something, but the way they start us off is terrible.
No, absolutely.
I
Well,
have a question for if I can.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, how are you doing? One of the things of great debate, right, online, I'm sure you saw it, when Bridgerton came out, was Queen Charlotte. Where do you stand on that, whether she's black or not?
The Queen or consort of George III. In a sense, when you're asking me what do I think of that?
Yeah, based on your research.
I'm not sure what you mean. What do I think of that?
Well, not what you think, but whatever you find, I guess, in your research would be the better way to put it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Speak direct.
That she was totally in keeping with that continuation, those cultural black continuations of deeply melanated people as rulers. Now, there is a German connection, obviously, as with Mecklenburg,
right?
And we know that is another rich FB region. You see, what the dictionary series is doing, it is coordinating and bringing together the melanated unity of Europe. Yes, there were lots of wars and issues with brothers and their rights to the crown and to the throne and all of that. But those political marriages that were happening were all between deeply melanated royal members.
Right.
And so Charlotte is part of that canon, you see. And she ends up in Buckingham Palace as one of the first residents with her husband, which is very important. Mm-hmm. So for me, I'm not surprised, I'm not shocked, because my optics are constantly saturated with all of these melanated families, these medieval families that would then move into the 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th century. So I expect to see them. I'm not surprised or shocked. In fact, if I don't see them, I have a question.
Right? Exactly.
Where are they?
Right, exactly.
Exactly. We just want to read something real quick, right? We're going to read something out of the Bible, quick verse, and because this is what we do generally, right? When we do this kind of research, yourself, whomever, this is what we're doing. Job chapter 8 and verse 8. All right.
This is the book of Job, chapter 8 and verse 8.
Yep.
For inquire, I pray thee, of the former age.
Right. It says, for inquire, meaning inquire, I pray thee, please, of the former age. Go ahead.
And prepare thyself to the search of their fathers.
And prepare yourself to the search of their fathers or your father. You have to go search that, right? And so that's what's happening. And we're finding out what? That our people were what? The royals in Europe, all throughout, not just Britain, because when people think of royalty, they think of just the UK, just London and so forth. But we're talking about the whole thing. Ireland, Wales. That was something interesting you had when I was reading the book. Listen, Doc, listen, I was with this book, hugging. I was hugging and snuggling with this book, right? No, but it's a great book. But just like, I don't even know where to go with this. Like, even in the history, like when you talked about with Wales, like you went through every place. Wales, in regards to Scotland, we have some information with even talked about King James and his family line, right? And it said that King James came from a long line of Black Scottish or Black Scots, right? Did you find anything about King James? Well,
just you're talking about something that is so absolutely critical. What the schooling system and of course the university system has done to us,
right.
I have to say, myself included, because I am a recipient of that system. It's only now, in all of its irony, that I had to do a PhD to get into my proper mind. But the idea that geography is so very critically important,
right.
and my micro analysis that takes us to every region, and you see those in the dictionaries, that I'm not talking about anomalies, one-off, strange occurrences. Oh, there was a Black person there.
Right.
No, I go to every single county in Britain, and I go into that micro analysis that says, well, it was a place in Wales. I mean, I'm only going to say Wales because you mentioned it, but I just did a short YouTube segment on Griffith, which is a place in Wales. Now, because I was able to go into that specificity, I was able to draw out the original surname of Du and Dion, but I was able to recover the original Black rulers. Belly Moore from the 8th century, Rodri Moore from the 8th century, and then, of course, William Conqueror's son, Henry I, gifts those regions back into those original populations of Wales. You see, it becomes, it's a history that is so beautiful, it's so rich, but it's very, very complicated if you don't do it with one surname at a time. It's laborious. You know what it's like? It's almost like digging a hole with a spoon for an elephant.
I like that.
It's the task at times can be very overwhelming, and I'm actually doing one surname at a time. Can you imagine how many hours that takes? But the rewards are magnificent.
Absolutely.
Because the self is being put back together again.
Right. No, absolutely. And as I was looking at it, I said, okay, we're getting the surnames, these different like you said, towns or provinces or counties, right? Now, what is the effect of the names, and then does that now go into language, right? How does that work, right? Because I'm pretty sure maybe at one time they were speaking the same language at one point, and then as we started to spread, maybe certain dialects were taking over. What's the impact on you know what I mean, coming from names?
Yes, I do. Because
geography.
we can find the traces of the original languages that are lying beneath what we are using today. So, for example, I don't know whether can you see that image there?
Yes, Dominic. Yep.
Now that is the name that's going to be part of part 3. So Dominic. Now, when we look at Dominic, we have Dom at the beginning.
Right.
And that sound, Dom, goes back to the sound of the Doomsday Book that William the Conqueror would map out the whole of Britain. Now, Dom means to judge. It's a judgment book.
Wow. The judgment
but
book.
it's also a survey of the land.
Wow.
You see, that's just one little example. And of course, Dom becomes Dominic, Dominica,
right?
And all of those variations then form. Right. So the traces are there. But if you're talking about the origin of particular languages like English and French,
right,
there is always a root, a stem, an origin, a beginning. And it starts usually with one word, a syllable. And you can find those continuities across the language. That's how you know that Black people are the original people.
Right.
Because that stem of a word can be found in France and Germany and Britain and Wales. Yes, there will be some vowel movage, you know, some variation, but the stem of the word is there.
Right, right. And I noticed like some names were broken down into, let's say, for instance, I want to show this real quick, officer, right? Put it here, right? So, and this would be pronounced what? Carleon?
Or Carleon,
yes. Carleon. Okay, so when I saw this, of course, me being a fan of the movie Godfather, first thing I thought of was Corleone, right? I don't know if you ever saw that movie, but that was the name of the family, or the stars. The stars of that movie were called the Corleone. Now they were from Italy, right? And that was the name of the town. When I read down and it mentioned something about Rome in here, I believe. Hold on, let me just make sure I saw that correctly. Yeah, it talked about the Roman counterpart. Let me say that. Oh, we have this up now. I'm sorry. We have the PDF now, so we can just bring it up. The page is 14. Yeah, we have the PDF. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We were looking for the PDF the whole time. We thought we had it, and it was like, oh man, we don't have it. So we were going old school. You know what I mean? But yeah, bring up page 14. But when I see things like that, like Corleone, and these different names, and they would break down into different names, but it meant the same thing. And I said, wow. And I heard that sometimes, I didn't read it there, but I know sometimes the family would get so big that they would break off the name and just make a slight variation to show that this was this particular family, as opposed to, they'll know exactly who the head of those families were. So I didn't know if that was right.
I think I'd never thought of it in that way, and I thank you for that. That is a wonderful example of the migration of language and how its original form, you can find it, because not only can you hear it, you see, as soon as you said that, Carleon, and then we see Carleon, something triggers, you see?
Yeah.
Because the language is embedded within us. That is the power of linguistics and onomastics. You have to just keep hearing it because it is triggering something.
You had some?
No, I'm just listening. Like as far as like the names, like my original surname was Morrow, and then you got like the name Moore and Morrison and Morris. What I'm hearing you say is like some of the syllables may change, but it's the same root word. It's Moore.
It's root word, absolutely. Yeah. And do you know that your surname is such a powerful surname in France? I think I've probably got about 200 variations of your name, all with the original noble families that carried it, all over France. You see, and they would then move into Britain. Well, they would populate the whole of Europe, but they would move into Scotland, they would move into Wales, and they would become the foundational families from your surname. It's so powerful.
Right. It's excellent. Hey, and please, brothers, open up that book, the PDF. Let's just go to. Let me see. Yeah, I know. Go to. You can start at page 15 or 14. I just kind of want to put it. Actually, go to 15 because we're showing right there. It's the family Abercrombie, and it has their castle and everything else. We want to show that. All right. Yes. All right. So Doc, when you were doing your research, you found out about this family. Then you realized. How did you find the info? Well, I mean that's up to you whether you want to speak on that or not. But in regards to knowing, hey, this is the Abercrombie Castle, and this was the family that was connected to it, as opposed to, go ahead.
You see, once you have the primary text of the visual, that is the original 12th or 13th century crest or the particular primary source that shows their face and their signs and their symbols, you know that when you go to the castle, because they always had a castle that related to their name in some form or shape. Okay. So the fact that that castle is still standing today, of course, traces back to the particular seal of the Abercrombies. But you see, what I'm finding is a consistent pattern and outcome. And, it's now well into 600 pages as I start to conclude on edition 3, is that many of these original homes and buildings and institutions that were created by these FBs are now in the hands of later Europeans. Now we know from the evidence, this is actually proven and documented, and that is in issue 14, that when many of those founding elites were shipped out on the forced migrations and the genocidal acts, that these soldiers were then given as prizes these estates and these castles and homes and institutions, and they would move in and assume the identity in many of the cases.
Right. Wow, this is beautiful stuff. Go to page 19, guys. Go to page 19, and on page 19, what we want to show is just the shields, the crests of certain of the families. Okay, right. So this is the Andrew, right? It says Andrew and then Andrews, right? So Doc, what would be the difference between these two? Was it the same family or were they different?
They would be multiple families sharing the same name, some variation with a vowel, but they were spread. And as you can see from my little code on my onomastic codes, that they were spread across all of those counties, and they were not only found in Scotland. Now, Andrews dominates Scotland, but we also know that it was found in Northampton as well. So many of these families would just move and migrate because it was their land.
Right.
No,
absolutely. Hey, guys, just scroll through a couple of the pages, please. Right. Because it's showing now. This is a different one, like Doctor was bringing up. They're in different lands. So you have one in London. You have what we were looking at before. Like you brought out North Hamptonshire.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so this is all London, but this is just great stuff as you go through. Now, some of and then I saw that you had like certain artifacts. Were these artifacts sitting somewhere like in a museum?
You know, I will let you in on one of my methodological secrets.
Okay.
Write it down.
And you actually did allude to it about 20 minutes ago,
right.
That a lot of these books actually have the artifacts hidden inside of them.
Right.
And when we say hidden, we have to be careful how we say that word. They're concealed in very, very old books, right, that most people would not even think about searching or opening up.
Absolutely.
And that's where a lot, and you can see from both of the editions, my extensive bibliography at the back of each book.
Yes.
And that really is my blueprint, you see.
Right. Right. Doing that real deep research. I got to show this page. Go to page 28. Right. So this family is called the Anastagi. I hope I'm saying that right. So, or Anastagi, Italian noble house. And it's good for our people to see this because they would never think of us being in Italy. Right. But look at that. Just blow it up a little bit and just, Jonathan, just read what's said to the side, on the right side, the FB, right? The foundational black,
yes, sir.
Anastagi.
The FB,
foundational black.
The foundational black Anastagi crest depicts the Moorish insignia, the bandu around their eyes to symbolize the enactment of
first sight consciousness.
First sight consciousness. They are not blind Moors in the literal sense as they function as semiotic text. This represents a process of recovering one's deep esoteric teachings and traditions as a collective force in triplicate.
So in regards to this, Doc, when you said the first sight consciousness and they are not blind Moors, what is that really going? Is that something that was amongst their people as well? Like we're no longer blind Moors, we're first consciousness. What does that actually mean?
You see, this is part of an extended series of publications that I did. Now, you can see the progenitor behind me.
Yes, yep.
That is a 7th century Irish artifact.
Yes.
And it's literally, it's only an inch like this.
Wow.
And next to it are the African antecedents with the white mask.
Yes.
Now, the white mask symbolizes a meditative state of going deep into oneself to ancient teachings. Now, it would become the precursor for the judicial system with the bando across Lady Justice.
I like that word. Okay.
You see?
Yes.
And I actually do write a little bit about it in part 3 because I found more evidence in Switzerland, you see, that shows that the original spiritual systems, the monks and the nuns and the priests were actually practicing first sight consciousness. Sorry, that's my phone.
Oh, no problem.
Let me get rid of it. And so they were practicing first sight consciousness. They didn't give it that name, first sight consciousness. That is part of my phenomenological work that I have done. That's laid the foundations for this particular way in recovering the history.
Right.
So they are not blind Moors. That is so very, very important. What they did is that they left real encoded signs for us to understand and for us to wake up.
Right.
And this, I mean, even those two at the bottom, that page that you were on, which is the
we're gonna bring it up right
Ireland,
now. Bring that
and
up.
It's actually called the Nazu mask from West Africa, as you can see here.
Right.
See,
do a close up,
what?
please. Just the bottom, the two bottom ones.
Yeah,
There
the
you
two
go.
bottom ones, yeah.
Okay.
You see, this particular synergy between the two has never been shown before. You see, when
Right.
later Europeans had this in one of their journals over to the left, they were mystified and couldn't understand what it was, you see,
Right.
because they don't have the conceptual framework or understanding. But then to find the antecedents in West Africa, the jigsaw puzzle was complete for me, you see.
Yeah.
And the region where the Irish artifact is from is also part of the jigsaw puzzle because it's from a place called Mumu, which is Southern Ireland. Now, Mumu translates into the elders, the leaders of the region, you see.
Mm-hmm.
It's a beautiful history that has been so distorted.
Yeah.
That we don't recognize it when we see it, but the dictionary is putting it back together again.
Yeah. So, Dr. Marie, like you say, your research, it's very tedious. It's like digging with a spoon. A spoon is small. So, and we do similar research, right? We've been here, we've dig alongside in the same area you're digging, right? Now I want to put something on your mind. I want to direct your spoon a little bit. All right. I want
Direct
you
the
to
spoon.
yeah. I want you to, if you haven't done it already, I would like you to in the future come dig around where we're digging, and I'll show you what we found also, right? There's great land that and the last names, the surnames weren't destroyed. The lands weren't destroyed, but people assumed that last name and people occupied that land. So now we're finding all this great history about the Moors, the Poochies, so on and so forth. We're like, oh, that's our people. That must be our land. That probably was our language. Those are our castles. And we're coming back to the realization of that, right? Now, there's a people also, because the same way I would never look for black people in Sweden or Wales, I would never do that as a young child because it's been showed to me. When I think of Israel, I think of Adam Sandler, I think of Seinfeld, I think of Netanyahu, I think of his people. I think of nationally white people when I think of Israel, right? But as we're digging, give me Song of Solomon 1 and 5. As we're digging for our research in history, I want to, the same way you have a root word like judicial, right? The root word is Jew, Judah. Those are the lawgivers in the Bible. So when I say I like that root word, judicial system, and the judicial systems in Sweden, it's all over the place. And guess where we were? All over the place. So now it reminded me of where we was digging in our spoon. So watch this.
This is the book of Song of Solomon, chapter 1 and verse 5.
Uh-huh.
I am black, but comely.
Uh-huh.
O ye daughters of Jerusalem.
Uh-huh.
As the tents of Kedar.
Yep.
As the curtains of Solomon.
Right. So pull up the definition of comely. And as we read this scripture in the Bible, King Solomon is saying he's black and comely. Right? Let's see what the definition of comely is. And then it says, O ye daughters of Jerusalem, meaning all the daughters of Jerusalem are black and beautiful. But the same way Europe was taken, and the last names of Europe was taken, the castles of Europe was taken, maybe Israel was taken. The last name of the Israelites were taken. The history of the Israelites were taken in the same. So it wouldn't be far-fetched to say the same person that did this over here would not do this here. It makes complete sense, right? So read the definition of comely.
This is the definition of comely.
Mm-hmm.
Pleasant to look at.
Uh-huh.
Attractive.
Oh, so when King Solomon said, I'm black and comely, meaning he said, I'm black and I look good. All the daughters of Israel are black and beautiful. So wait a minute. That leads me to think maybe this history was stolen. And it is the best history because these are God's chosen people, right? I don't want to destroy good history that I can assume and give to my people. Because the same way when you told me about my last name, I felt good about that. I was like, man, I had a royal family out there, the Moors, the Moros. I had no clue, and I felt good for like 30 seconds. You know what I'm saying? Like literally, I'm thinking how noble was. Oh, maybe that's why I feel the pride of this, that, and the third, and it got me thinking, right? So now, wait a minute. We are God's chosen people. We are the lawgivers. We are the. Watch this. Give me Revelations 1:14, because Jesus Christ himself was a Jew. Now, I just want, like I said, I want to just guide your spoon. If you have not been here yet, do some digging in this area, because the same way I would not research European history for my people. And remember, the field is big, the spoon is small, right? So just come dig in this area with us. Give me Revelations 1:14.
This is the book of Revelations, chapter 1 and verse 14. His head and his hairs were white like wool.
Jesus, this is describing Jesus the Christ, right? His hair on his head, it was white in color and woolly in texture. Now, when you look at textured hair on a human being, that would be known as an afro, right? White Europeans don't have afros. You know what I'm saying? Netanyahu does not have an afro. Yeah. Seinfeld doesn't have an afro. You know what I'm saying? So when I think of white woolly hair, I think of my grandfather who had white hair because he got old and it was woolly. Right? So far, this is describing somebody with an afro. Read on.
As white as snow.
Uh-huh.
And his eyes were as a flame of fire.
Right?
And his feet.
Now, when we're looking down at Jesus Christ's feet as it's being described, whatever the top of your feet look like, that's the same color as the rest of your body. So they're looking at his feet. Read.
Like unto fine brass.
Brass is a brown color. His feet look brown. Read.
As if they burned in a furnace.
So if I take that brown brass and I burn it in a furnace, what color does his skin on his feet turn? It turns black. So when I take those characteristics and I put them together, wait a minute, my spoon finds that Jesus Christ, who is a Jew.
My spoon.
Yeah, he's a Jew, right? He has an afro and he has black skin. And his great-great-great-great-grandfather, King Solomon, said he's black and beautiful. So now, wait a minute, that leads me to think that this history has been stolen, as great as it is, right? And if that's God's choice land, that land has been stolen, as great as it is. In the same way I felt good about my last name as a Moor, I feel even better knowing that I am an Israelite, one of God's chosen people.
And a beautiful thing, a beautiful part about it is you went to King Solomon, right?
Yeah,
We're talking about the kings here, like the royalty. It's the same. It's us, in other words, right? I want to pull up page 38. Bring up 38, because this is excellent stuff. Because now, as a kid growing up, right, you see all the movies of the Knights of the Round Table, things like this. I saw a movie called Excalibur when I was a kid, right? I had loved that movie, right? But there was no black people in that movie, right?
No.
It was none, right? Then you find out later, wait a minute, that was us.
Yeah, man.
Right? Bring up page 38. Okay. So now this name is called Arundel, right? Now scroll up or down, whatever we're doing here. Go ahead. Scroll. Stop. Scroll, please. You see the man in the armor, right? No, I said scroll the other way. What is going on? That's not page 38, is it? Okay, there you go.
That's page 38.
Yeah, that's it right there. Now, just read what's on the lower left.
Zoom in a little bit.
Right there. There you go.
Edmund de Arundel, or Fitzallen, with Sybil de Montacute,
right,
daughter of William Earl of Salisbury, who became his wife before 1347.
Right.
The Stuarts, afterwards kings of Scotland, has been shown by Chalmers, descended from Walter Fitzallen, created Stewart of Scotland by David I.
By David I. Go ahead.
He was the son of William Fitzallen, founder of Haman Salop, son of Allen Flod, Baron of Oswaldistry,
Mm-hmm.
Salop, and Millingham, Norfolk, who came to England with the Conqueror.
Who came to England with the Conqueror? Is that the Conqueror you were discussing, Doctor?
That's
Yes.
that's William.
That's William Conqueror, right? And also we want to bring out the Stuarts, right? The Kings of Scotland is showing, and that's where we have something about King James as well. But Doctor, we're going to bring that up in a second. But Doctor, I know you were pulling something out. I want to see what you were going to bring out.
Who, me?
Yeah. Oh, I thought I saw you reaching for something. Okay, but you had something in your head.
No, what I was going to say was, if you can see that even in their physical presence, that there were lots of cultural continuities, even with the headpieces.
Right.
You can see that with the German.
Right.
That's on the following page on 39.
Oh, 39.
But
okay.
what was, as your colleague was reading out there, because names will keep triggering all the time. When we talk about Arundel, they are a branch of the FitzAlans. And what happens is, as you get into this genealogy, the branches become like a tree. They become so complex. And you find all of these other names and families that become the cadets or the younger branches.
Right.
But the FitzAlans, son of Alan is this is where we get the name Alan from.
Right.
From the Normans, the French. And they are the elites. You know, just as I was talking then, it did trigger something. What we have been strayed away from, that we think a lot of the wealth that came into Britain was solely connected to the proceedings of the slave trade. And what a lot of my research is actually showing is that the wealth was immense in the 11th, 12th, and 13th century from their own commerce and institutions and products that they were in charge of. So I had an example with William Conqueror, whose annual salary from the French government was £5 million. Now, I don't know what that translates to into dollars. Right. Probably about maybe the same.
No, probably about maybe 6. I think
6 million.
Could be. I'll check it out. But I know the pound is definitely more than the dollar.
So we're talking in the 11th century. So what we're actually saying is that would translate to billions.
Right.
Billions.
Yeah, please.
You see,
if I could get some.
He's coming up from France into Britain with billions.
That's crazy. Right.
In the 11th century. So we have to get our heads round. This is what they were working with. This is why they were able to have so many wars. This is why they were able to build such incredible infrastructure. Those noble houses, those stately homes, those manors, those castles, because it's coming up into the billions.
Right. Wow. That's outrageous.
Yeah.
but that seems right for a king.
Yeah.
Right? Billions seems
yes.
right for a king.
Yes.
Could I get
Right.
some, Cat, please?
Yeah. Go ahead. You want to bring something?
Yeah. Hosea chapter 3 and verse 4. What you're saying is in the Bible. I just got 2 things to show you out of the scriptures, because it shows you we had the wealth, right? So the people that came and conquered us, you wouldn't go and conquer people unless there was something to gain from it.
That's right.
Right? So Hosea chapter 3, start at verse 4.
This is the book of Hosea, chapter 3 and verse 4. For the children of Israel shall abide many days without a king.
So the Bible prophesied that we would abide many days without a king. Go ahead.
And without a prince.
Come on.
And without a sacrifice. And without an image.
Right. We want to have an image, right? So what you're bringing back is the image that we lost. Keep going.
And without an ephod. And without teraphim.
Right. So this is prophesying about 1492, which, I have questions on, but the Renaissance era, as Europeans call it, right? They began to whitewash all the images. But something I want to point out here, right, is Malachi chapter 1 and verse 3.
Come on.
Let's just go to 4 for the time.
So there was a time where Europeans had no money, right? They had no wealth. They were called the wildlings, as Cap brought out earlier. And so they were in a position of poverty, right? So the Bible prophesied that that would happen. We would lose our image at some point in time. And then this group would come and say this. Read it.
This is the book of Malachi, chapter 1 and verse 4. Whereas Edom saith.
Right. So I know in your research, I'm sure you've come across the name Edom and how it ties back to Rome, but not specifically us in Rome, another group of people, right? So this is going to European history in the Bible. It's documented. Go ahead.
We are impoverished.
They said we are what?
We are impoverished.
Right, meaning we have nothing. So the Bible prophesied that we would lose our king and our image, and this happened when they came in because they were in a state of poverty. They conquered us. Go on.
But we will return and build the desolate places.
Right, they returned and they started to build over the places that we were in. They started to take our images and change them. They started to build up the cities that they wanted to build up, but under our names. Go on.
Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down.
Read.
And they shall call themselves, or they shall call them, the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord hath indignation forever.
Right. So the Lord is also frustrated with the work that they've done to erase history. But what you're finding is our history that happened before 1492. And a lot of time the disconnect for our people to the Bible or to their history is that there's a period where they came in, they conquered, they were impoverished, took everything, took the images. And for a lot of our people, they just start and go forward. But this is a great conversation because what it's showing is that the history that came before they were in power, 1492 and back, shows that we were the rulers. We ruled the earth once and we'll rule the earth again, according to the Bible.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's you mentioned that time, and I think a great movie to watch would be like Othello, right? Othello kind of is like a microcosm, right, of what happened, right? You have Othello. He's surrounded by white people at that time because now this is when the Moors' power was kind of dwindling, right? We're getting now wars were being fought all over, Germania, Britain, all over, but he's not looking at it the same. He's looking at it as okay, we're all friends and everything, not understanding that they were looking to take over and get rid of us. And Othello is great if you look at it in a macro instead of looking at it in just like a story between him and his friend. I just want to go to page 40 in the book, right? Go to page 40 real quick, guys. Right, so still dealing with that family, Arundel, but now it's showing the castles, right? Just read what's in the middle, okay, where it says Edmund Fitzallen.
Yep. Go ahead. Edmund Fitzallen, Arundel, was knighted in 1352 and owned numerous manors throughout the counties of Devon, Somerset, and Sussex. The Wallace family came.
And hold on, I'm sorry. And not to mention, all of these names are still being used today all over.
Yeah.
Right? I'm pretty sure everywhere out here in California, in New York, where I'm from, all of those names are used. Somerset, New Jersey, Sussex, New Jersey. That's all New Jersey stuff. But go ahead.
The Wallace family came from Salop with the Fitzallens. Blakeway remarks on the name in the Fitzallens charters as an evidence of the Shropshire origin of the latter sheriffs of Shropshire. And Eiton observes the name of Wallace as from Shropshire. The family of Wallace were tenants of the Fitzallens of Salop, for Roger Wallace in 1165 hailed from them.
Right. So I just wanted the people to see the castles, what they would call the manors, right? And notice how these names are being derived from the other names. And it's just, it's just fascinating when you look at it. Now, when it says the origin,
but can I just
please jump in?
Could I just say that I also, what I like to interject is the visuals of the later Europeans who are now in possession of those, and that's very, very important that we get those optics straight in our head, that they are the latecomers, you see,
post that picture,
and they are in possession of the estates that simply do not belong to them.
That's the point.
Right.
That's the point.
That's the point.
Scroll the other way. The other way, guys. Come on. Pay attention. There you go.
That's a great way
So,
to say they stole it.
so he is, what would be the polite word? Is he a custodian?
He's a thief.
He's a thief. Let's just put it the way it is.
Yeah, he right now would be in court for being in possession of stolen goods.
Right.
Absolutely. And the page facing, which is very, very important, is that you see the original Fitz-Allen on his equestrian seal, and he is a melanated man, a black man.
That's on
You
page
see?
41. Go to the next
That's
page.
41. Yeah. You see?
Right.
And it's always the shield, which will give a clue. They were hiding a lot of signs and symbols in their armor and their metalwork, and usually the horse. The horse is a very powerful symbol that they hid a lot of encoded signs and symbols. And part 3 of the dictionary is replete with these signs and symbols, because in their arrogance, and I'm talking about the thieves,
Right.
the later Europeans, in their arrogance, they never thought that we would be able to recover this.
Right. That's the point.
You see, I mean, it's taken a long time to be able to put a coherent narrative together in these dictionaries, because, you know, if I was attached, if I could just state that this is very, very important. When you're an independent thinker, and you are creating a new genre, because this is what this is. This is a brand new subgenre that has never existed before in this dictionary format. If I was attached to a university, they wouldn't allow me to do this.
No, they wouldn't.
To do this work.
Not at all.
In any shape, form, fashion, they would not allow me to do it. So being an independent researcher, I have to be able to have the vision, to be able to see the completion of this project. And I also have to have the ability of the sheer stamina to keep going. You know, there is a lot of hate that I get from this work. I know I did, and also just to conclude on that, nobody's funding me to do this.
Right.
This is something that I have to do. This is part of why I did my PhD. But I just to kind of conclude on that point, I did a session for somebody in the UK, and if you could have seen the amount of hate that came pouring in.
Oh yeah.
It would, I'm not sure that it would blow you away. You probably are very aware of it.
Oh yeah.
But I was being called, I can't even repeat what I was being called.
Really?
But just because of truth.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Right. The Bible says that. Am I your enemy? Because I tell you the truth.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what happens. Now that the truth is out, it's like, okay, you know what? We're making our, these people are now going to become emboldened to step into their role and be strong in who they are. We did a show about South Africa and apartheid in South Africa, and Trevor Noah, the comedian, was bringing out that the people in South Africa, the Boers, or the white people who invaded, that they searched throughout the United States and all over the different places to find out how to make up the perfect racism, right? And once they found that out, that's how they conquered South Africa. I obviously mentally, right? You have to get the people mentally depressed, right? And oppressed. So that's what you're talking about. You're talking about reviving a people out of that. Because that's the main piece to keep a people oppressed is the mind, right? Because physically, yeah, they could always jump up and kill everybody, right? But if you're strong mentally, now you don't really even need to deal with those people. Now we're just dealing with each other, building each other up. Look, this is our history. Right. This is going on. Now we're building from within and building us. That's where the hate is coming from.
Right.
That's where the hate is coming from.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you're now in receipt of my work, that it is purely evidence-based.
Yes,
I don't make any conjecture. I don't make any supposition. It is based on evidence. And yet it's not a hunch. It's not something I feel. It's purely clinical in the work that I do. I present the evidence and I document it. And yet, even when you come from that scholarly position, they have nowhere to go but to make it an emotional attack, because nobody attacks my work, but they attack me on a personal level, you see.
That's right.
I suppose I must take it as a compliment, because they kind of, they can't really go in at the work.
Right. Now they have to say, well, how do we know that she's even smart?
Right.
Where did she get a PhD?
That's
Who was her professors?
Who gave her the authority?
Right. Oh, that guy? He's the professor? Oh, yeah, he's always a drunk. He probably, it's going to be something.
And another thing that's interesting, it's because I'm a female.
Okay.
And because how dare she come with such authority and confidence to speak about our history? That's usually in the hands of males who do that, not a woman.
Right. But the problem is they'll try to, it's the female. I'm not gonna that's probably a big part of it. But the main part of it is, why are you trying to bring this out and make us look like we're evil when we are? Right?
You know what? Hey, that probably, it just so happens that our histories are connected. So when we uncover things about ourselves, we accidentally uncover something about them. You know what I'm saying?
That's the point.
So your research is not to say these are evil people. But then if you uncover, say, wait a minute, we the people of Wales. And then you look back at the people of Wales and who the hell are y'all?
Right.
That automatically lets you know that, this place must have been conquered, so on and so forth.
But it goes back to what Dr. Charles was saying. It's not emotional, right? It's going to be clinical.
Yes. Right.
So we're not calling somebody wicked because we just feel like it because we have nothing else to do. Exactly. We're looking at clinical, empirical evidence.
Yes.
And then we ask the question, who stole this?
Exactly.
Why is our name buried?
You see, but you see what's so important? The question has now been totally reversed. We know who we are. Our question is, but who are you?
Oh, see, now you're talking. Now you're talking.
You see, once that question has now been reversed, and we are now in a power position where we say, the question now revolves around your identity, because melanated people are indigenous everywhere.
Right.
Everywhere. And I'm soon to get into Spain and Italy and
can we get into Spain?
The little spoon.
Yeah. Can we get into Spain? But you said something, because when you look at it, right, a lot of white people look at themselves as being Aryan, right? Even that term Aryan is not indigenous to them. Nope. That term Aryan, I believe, is indigenous to the Persians and the East Indians. That's their terminology. But again, they went, conquered, and now we're the Aryans.
That's what they do.
We're the Aryans. Let's make the movie 10 Commandments. We're the Egyptians. Come on. We know that Ptolemy from Greece was ruling over Egypt at a time. That doesn't make Egypt black or African. The ancient Egyptians were Africans. Egypt is in Africa. What are we talking about?
Right.
Like the whole thing is just weird.
Exactly. But once we get a hold of these maps and we start drilling into these areas with documented evidence, I want to know where they're going to go next.
Right.
That's my next question.
Well, they're going to get violent.
Yes.
That's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
They're going to get violent. And that's what we see here in the United States. I'm not sure, you're doing a lot of work, so you're probably not able to pay attention to everything that's going on all over the world. But in the United States now, right, we have sort of on a precipice, so to speak, of a civil war, right? Not between black people and white people, between white people and white people.
Yeah.
Right? Because they want control of the country again. They want to get rid of all the Hispanics. They can't really get rid of black people. They don't really want to do that. Because if we're not here, then there's no fun, right? like the scriptures say, we're the salt of the earth. It's just what it is, right? Wherever we are, that's where everything is happening, right? So, but the point is that it's starting to turn into a situation where they're going to get violent. Because after a while, like you said, they're not going to be able to look past the clinical information. After they go through the emotional phase and nobody responds, then they're going to say, okay, we got to kill people. You know, we got to kill people.
Yeah.
You know?
And call you a hate
Well,
group.
what do they say? That most of their civilizations implode every 400 to 500 years?
That's right. That's right.
Age of
That's exactly correct. And that's what I was gonna, and I'm glad you brought that up, because you had Rome, right? And you had those last emperors of Rome, which were black. You had Septimius Severus and his sons, and so on and so forth. And then that led into the Moors and the whole conquering of Europe, basically, right? But the point of bringing that up is that Rome actually collapsed. It did fall. That empire did fall. All the empires have to fall. United States is going to fall. That's just what it is. You know, although it's only 200 and whatever amount of years, this is just around the time when the fall happens.
It's a life cycle.
Yeah. This is it. You know, we talked about them being thieves, right, and taking everything, right. I just want to read something, because this is talked about in the Bible, and it's going to be it's Obadiah. It's so perfect, because when we read this, we had to laugh.
Yeah.
Because this is what they take: the land, they take everything, they take the heritage, they take the names. I mean, everything, right? So look at this. This is Obadiah, verse 4. Start there. I'm just going to read 1 and 2. Verse 4 and 5. I'm sorry.
This is the book of Obadiah, verse 4.
Come on.
Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle.
So the Lord is talking to particular people. He said they exalt themselves as an eagle, right? When you look at the symbology of these people, you'll know who the eagle is. Like if you look at everybody's symbol of their country, you can put that together, right? Go ahead.
And though thou set thy nest among the stars.
And though you set your nest amongst the stars, right? When they landed on the moon, they said, the eagle has landed, right? All of these kind of things, right? Go ahead.
Thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord.
The Lord said, then I'm going to bring you down. But watch this. Go ahead.
If thieves came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off?
Come on.
Would they not have stolen till they had enough?
They said if the Bible said if thieves came, wouldn't they steal until they had enough? Meaning, okay, this is all I can handle. Let me get out of here. Right? Go ahead.
If the grape gatherers came to thee, how they not leave, or would they not leave some grapes?
Right. If they came to steal some grapes, they would have to leave some grapes behind, because they can't carry them all. Right? Go ahead.
How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up?
So what he's saying here is that who he's calling Esau is this. Esau is the name of the people who have a symbol as an eagle. They just take everything.
Right.
They don't take what they can carry. They take everything.
Yes.
Right? Because if they can't carry it all now, they're coming back.
Yeah, they get the rest.
Subdue the people, kill the people. And then after a century, these people don't even know that they were Andrews.
Right.
I'm Andrews. You are Toby. You are Kunta. They're going to give you a bunch of different names.
Yeah.
You're not me. That name you have, that's the slave name, because you belong to me. That's what it is, right? And this is just some incredible stuff. So when we look at the work that you put together, and then we look at
Beautiful. Yeah.
the scriptures and the stuff that we find, we say, oh man, this is great, because this helps our people.
And if I might just
Please.
Add to that,
Yes.
they have traded on the fact that a couple of centuries have gone by where they have controlled the education system. Now, I was on the other side of that as a school teacher for many years.
Okay.
That they have to control the education system, you see, and it's actually a masterful move from the wickedly wise to be able to control that whole system so that your teachers are 87% white.
Yes.
The curriculum is all white with a little bit of sprinkling of some holidays here and there.
Yeah.
Right.
And that teaching force has to be of a certain hue and of a certain mindset, that century after century, that history, you just brought the Andrews. up, you would never know.
Never.
Right.
Because they control the whole mechanism for information.
Right. And the thing about it is, as a teacher, you cannot even introduce that into curriculum. You might even get in trouble bringing the book in.
Yeah.
You might have a problem with that.
Yeah.
Let's say let's say you have a classroom like 80%, I don't know, black, 80% white. Let's say 50% white, 50% black, and whatever else. And you feel like bringing in this history in there. They're gonna go home, and maybe the white kids, maybe they don't even know one way from the other. They don't care. They just learning something like they learned everything else. They bring the book home. Parents are like, "What the hell is this? What?" That's it. Yeah. That teacher will be fired.
That is a dose of reality. But you know what is happening? I get a lot of emails from parents who are saying, we absolutely love your work because we're showing it at home. Right. Those optics, those real historical optics to our children. Right. And they are reforming and reframing a true identity. Yes. But, and this is the critical part, we are teaching our children the strategies of safety, that they cannot go into the schooling system and say, but you're teaching incorrect content.
Right.
You have to be so careful.
Yes.
Now, I'm not saying that we don't engage in critical thinking with our children. That's very important, but we have to give them the strategies.
You're making sense. That's reality.
You see, my own brother was expelled from school. I mean, you know, I'm going back 40 odd years now, but he was expelled because he challenged the system. And they love that because they love to exclude and suspend and isolate our children, the ones who have the critical capacity. So we have to go in with some judicious thinking now to equip our children when they are in receipt of this evidence, that they know how to guide and speak and talk about themselves in a protective way.
Right. That's why Paul talked the way he talked. Right. Because you couldn't, all the prophets talked the way they talked because we were under another nation's rulership. Right. So Paul couldn't just say the Romans are the devil. He couldn't just say that. He would be beheaded. That would be treason. So he would have to say, you know, the enemy, or, you know, wording is tact. The Bible say, be wise as a serpent, harmless as a dove. Right. So you're saying things biblically, not even thinking about it. You know, the truth is coming out, you know, and the Lord is telling us what's going to happen when you do these things. You're going to be under persecution. People hate the truth.
Right.
Can I read that?
No, that's excellent. And you bring out an excellent point, because a lot of our children, right, that's what we do. We teach them. They don't necessarily go into school and say anything. Yeah. Yeah. They know what it is. They're like, okay, cool. And the other little kids, they might tell them, well, you know, that's not really real. You know, this is this. They just talk amongst themselves. But they're not in the classroom like the story. A teacher, I would have done that. I would have been going crazy in school. Exactly. I'd have been like, you're a liar. I would have been done.
We have to be wiser. We have to have some more strategies now in place. Yeah. That's so important.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. Over to JD.
I wanted to get Matthew chapter 10 and verse 27.
Okay.
Christ warned the disciples what the consequence of speaking the information he gave them at that time would be. So it's the same thing in this time, right? We understand that us as leaders, if we go out and tell the truth, there's a consequence. But the children, they shouldn't enact on that at the age they are, right? They should build. They should learn what they need to learn. So we always go over this. Read Matthew 10 and verse 27.
This is the book of Matthew chapter 10 and verse 27. What I tell you in darkness, that speak ye in light.
Right. So Christ would teach them at night, and then they would go out and they would prophesy what he taught them. Go ahead.
And what ye hear in the ear, that preach ye upon the housetops.
Read.
And fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul.
And this is what we understand. They can only put bodies to death, but they can never erase history, right? The truth that you're speaking about, it never could be erased, right? It's impossible. In their mind, they thought they had the capability to erase truth. The Lord is telling you they could get rid of your body, but the soul and what you leave spiritually, it's always going to be here. The history is always going to be here, regardless of what they try to do. Go ahead.
But rather fear him, which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell.
Right, because we know the Lord has that final judgment for us. But the point that you're making is when it comes to this information, there's a price to pay for it, right? The more you know, it's not just you can know this information and go spread it without the understanding of what may come from it. But the reason that, and then yourself, the reason you're willing to write these books is because there's a love for your people there that exists, right? And this is what we teach to young children, love your people. But there'll be a time when this has to be taught, when you have to make sure that the children coming after you understand this. So for right now, they're quiet.
Right. right. And you were discussing something about the maps, right? And as we were looking like towards the back, guys, bring up page 173. All right, 173, right? Because the maps. Now, actually, man, there's some nice ones in there too. You know what? Bring up. Oh, you know what? Bring up 171. I want 171. That's the one. This is some good stuff right here. Okay. Yes, sir. Okay, so it's showing all our people. Now, this is important to take a look at because you got UK, you got the UK there, you got Denmark, you got Latvia, well, Lithuania, but just look to where our people are. Just look where the yellow names are. France, Germany, like the doctor brought out, Czech Republic, Austria, right? Who would ever think that? But you know what? In Austria, you can understand with a name like Schwarzenegger, right?
Straight up. Roy. That's black.
Yeah.
That's right.
Excuse me?
That's a real black name. Excuse me, say that again?
Yeah, isn't that like Schwarzenegger? Like, that's like black. Doc, I mean, you can talk to us on the name. But, when you see it.
But those maps are absolutely critical because what I do, I never, ever put a name down that I cannot chart or trace its migration from France or Germany. And that's why it's the spoon analogy. It's one surname at a time and following it around the globe.
Yeah,
right.
That's what makes this work so authentic and powerful, that if I find the name, for example, if we go back to the map.
Go back to the map,
you
please.
can see that we can take any of them because I'm actually dealing in thousands of names here now. So it's keeping track of it all. Right. Obviously, the main source is Normandy. The Normans are moving up and they are providing the surnames. But what is so interesting, if we take the surname Bangs, Bangs,
okay, Bangs.
That name finds itself in Denmark, but it's from the UK. I'm not quite sure which county it's from now. I'd have to go back and have a little look. But it's always coming up from the continent and moving into Britain, which is very interesting because in their arrogance, white people think that they are the holders of those surnames and they're moving down the map when it's in reverse. It's coming up from black people into Britain, and those white people would then assume those surnames. That's what happened.
Right.
And that's what the history is showing.
Yes. And they take all of the greatest parts, right? Because and the Bible talks about that as well, meaning that they will have all of the best places on earth, but they get it by the sword, meaning they get it by killing, right? It tells you that in the book of Genesis chapter 27. It goes into that, right? The Bible's an excellent book because everything that we find out about in the secular, right, let's just say this is secular history, we can find something in the Bible that corroborates the history. We're like, oh my God, this is crazy. Like earlier, the brother was asking about Queen Charlotte, and I see on the bottom of the page, you have Queen Charlotte coming right out of Mecklenburg. On the same page where the map is, brothers, if you put the map up one more time, please. If
That's
you can
right, Mecklenburg. Yeah, that's their home.
Right. Scroll up. There you go. Yes, right there. And if you look in the bottom, right, it has home of Queen Charlotte. right? And then it references, I guess, the book where you got it from, C issue number 16.
Well, no, those issues are my missing faces in teaching issues.
Okay.
That, yeah. So it's almost like a secondary source that confirms that statement. So those statements at the back operate as a sort of index, like a comprehensive index.
Yes.
And then they take you back to my other research. So issue 14 deals with the Irish and Scottish forced migrations and all the Irish settlements. So when you see issue number 14, it is always referring back to the Missing Faces in Teaching journal. Do you know, just as you were talking then, things come back into my mind. One of the most powerful names that I came across, and it's actually a set of color names, like brown is a form of Brunn, and that comes up from Germany.
Right.
But it's also the names white and gray are these are 12th century priests that are coming up from France that find themselves in Britain, and they are deeply melanated individuals. And what the research is now securing is that those spiritual systems and those first religious houses were set up from the French moving up into Britain. And to fast forward, what Henry VIII does in 1536 to 1543, he has a dissolution act where he closes them all down.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what my research is showing is that those hundreds of religious houses and monasteries set all over Ireland and Scotland and Wales, is that they were totally self-functioning in terms of their wealth. They were trading across Europe with their goods and accruing lots of wealth. And he came along, Henry VIII, and said, I've got to shut this down. I want all this wealth to go to the crown.
Wow.
And that's what he did. Now, I have to do a little bit more research to corroborate it, but I will reveal today that Henry VIII was probably black.
Yes. Yes.
And we know that we have people who are not loyal within the race. We know that.
Right.
And he was a dissident. He was probably one of those individuals. So he wasn't a good guy at all.
Right. Right. And that's important to bring out too, right? When we're talking about these people, we're not talking about them as if they're the saints of, of planet Earth.
Right.
Right. These are they're pretty rough. They're rough characters.
I've got to tell it all.
Huh?
If I've got to tell it all. If there are some baddies in there, I can't ignore that.
No, not at all. Not at all. I would venture to say that most of them were baddies.
Mm-hmm.
I would, yeah, because, and I say that in a way of you know, if you're a conqueror, and I'm not talking about William Conqueror just because of the name. I'm just saying in general.
No.
If you're running around, you're the royal family, you're taking over. You're not doing it by talking.
Oh no.
No.
And you're not talking to people. Hey, let me just get that. You're taking, you're controlling. Now, they might not. When you read the history of the Moors, they weren't like how white people are in regards to enslaving people and changing their names and doing all of that. They would subjugate them, but they were teaching them how to live. Now, this is a real thing. This is how come they were saying that they civilized us. In reality, we civilized them, right? How to live, so on and so forth. They were free to move around to a degree. But black people were ruling. That was just what it was. It wasn't, okay, now we're going to whip you and beat you and change your name. Now your name is our name. That never happened.
No, but just going back to William, and I think there was lots of jealousy and sibling rivalry.
Right.
The history is showing that they were kind of throwing each other under the bus.
Oh, yeah.
You know, there was a lot of that. And we know that Henry and Rufus, as brothers, that there was some shenanigans going on with them. And Rufus, you know, is ultimately murdered in the forests, gets an arrow in his eye and so on. But there had to be some complicity on the side of the ruling elites for that complete takeover.
Right.
And Henry VIII is one of them.
Right.
And I am going to bring this out more as I get into, possibly part 4.
No, that's gonna be beautiful stuff. Yeah. We just want to we're gonna bring this one thing up with King James, just because we spoke about him earlier.
Right.
Brothers, just go to class content. It's the very last thing I posted in there. Okay, there you go. All right. So this was a book that we have. It's called The Negro Question, Part 4, The Missing Link, by Lee Cummings. I'm not sure if you know about this book, Doctor. You might.
I have all of his books.
Okay, there you go. I just said that because I know you probably do have all of them. but I said just in case, right? But it says so in this one it says King of Scots, right? And go to the page, and then read that thing.
Image location: New College Library, Edinburgh, United Kingdom. I know that this image of a black King James can be a little confusing because of your Western education. Mm-hmm. But this is the truth that is known by the rich and the elite in the world. That was the reason I paraded all of the English historians and professors before you before I got into the bowels of this book. I had to get your mind ready to receive the truth. King James came from a long line of black Scottish Stuart kings. 343 years of rulership in Scotland.
Go ahead, read the rest.
The Stuarts not only ruled in Scotland, they ruled France, Spain, Ireland, and England.
Go ahead.
Britain, Wales.
Right. And so these are all the places that Dr. Marie is researching. Yeah. Right? So, and we saw the name Stewards. We looked at it earlier, right? That was like around page 14, 15, somewhere in there, right? But we just showing you what this scholar got out of it. Doc, let me ask you, have you been able to meet, I don't know if some of these people who wrote these books, if they're still around, were you able to meet any of these authors of any of these books that you might be?
No, not at all.
Right. Okay.
Not at all. Okay. No.
Okay.
And I mean, many of them have passed on now. That is for sure.
Right.
But no, I haven't had the pleasure of meeting any of them.
Okay.
I have to say my conversations are pretty tight in terms of who I speak to. You are probably you're part of that very small canon of individuals that I speak to.
Okay.
Because you have to be very selective in who you actually speak to about this research. It's not for everybody.
No.
You have to have a grounding like you do yourself. You have to have a foundation of real receptivity and understanding.
Right.
You know who you are.
Right.
That's why we're able to have this conversation. I'm not fighting or resisting against anything.
Right.
Your conceptual framework is firmly in place.
Right. And I'm sorry. Go ahead. Finish it.
No, please.
No, because I was going to say, generally people get angry and upset because it makes them feel like everything they've learned before is a lie. Right. And then they start to question themselves. But that's what you're supposed to do.
Right.
You have to question it. Right, because we had no clue, right, before learning any of this. We're of the mind that they are the knights of the round table, they are the kings and queens, so on and so forth. We didn't have that. We stem out of Africa, and then that's it. And our history is lost, and we don't know who we are. Then we started to come. Now, when we learned, we said, okay, this makes sense because why are we so damn smart? Now I don't want to be Why are we so smart?
Right. Yeah.
Even if they taught us something, that would just mean that we learned something. That would mean our critical thinking still shouldn't be where it's at. Mm-hmm. You can't teach that. That's something from within. That's your blood, like you said, the bloodline. So from that, we understand like how we move as a people, things like that. Our just overall gifts and everything. Right. And you see it amongst these people, but it was their time to rule. The Lord put an end to it, just like he does put an end to everybody's rule. He put an end to that rule for whatever reason, but now everything is resurfacing.
You're so correct. It's all this renaissance that we are experiencing. You can't stop it.
No,
it's out there now. It's
right.
Just as you were speaking though, and you said, why are we so smart?
Right.
This idea, and it kind of does infuriate me a little bit when I think about our children who they put out in the mainstream cannot read or struggling readers.
Right.
If they only knew, our children, the foundation and the emergence of literature, that I'm now documenting this, particularly in part 3, that all of those institutions and those universities were seeded by the original priests. Right. And Oxford University, Cambridge University was seeded by these original Black priests. And what they did, which was so incredible, is that they had these wonderful libraries with all of this literature that they were honing and putting together. Now, Henry, all of these monarchs were, even if we go back to Alfred the Great, another Black Anglo-Saxon king, he is this tremendous literate man who has he has Aesop's tales in his library. He's translating a lot of texts from Latin into English. And that's just some examples that I'm giving you. But many of these institutes and institutions of higher learning were founded by these Black priests all over the British Isles. So when I hear these reports that come out and say, Black children are struggling, they can't read, if those children only knew their background and their history, they would sit and they would be turned on instantly intellectually because of that bloodline memory. That's right. But the schooling system must keep that hidden.
Right. And we heard that that's the reason for even the DNA mapping is to kind of steer you away from where you're supposed to be, right? Because then your bloodline, you're going to follow that. So now if they're in have your DNA, you don't really know what they're showing you is real. Right. You know what I mean? They're going to show you, oh yeah, you're from Nigeria, you're from it. Like, what are we talking about? Like, this is nonsense. They can't really
if you could, that Cambridge image is very important, because these are the signs and symbols that I am alluding to. Right. There are Black faces embedded on the underbelly of the lions, you see. And that's what they were doing. They were hiding themselves because they knew they were going to fall into darkness. They knew it. And they would hide themselves so that we would recover this history. You see the two faces? It's incredible. And they are the foundations of Cambridge University.
Oh man, you can't make it up.
Go to the Zondervan Bible Dictionary and pull up King James. Same thing she talking about, man. Let's see some of the good work that they did.
Yeah, because it said that they were hiding themselves because they knew, right? Yeah. So you could always find out. That's something else. Go ahead.
Even first go to Isaiah chapter 28 and verse 10 and 11. 28, I think it is.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 28 and verse 15.
Yeah.
Because ye have said.
No, I want 10.
Oh, verse 10. Verse 10. For precept must be upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line. Here a little and there a little.
Watch this. This is the prophecy on that God gave us that King James would do to the Bible. Watch this. Go ahead.
For with stammering lips and another tongue will he speak to his people.
The Most High said with stammering lips and a different language will he speak to us. So the Bible was what it was originally written in Hebrew and Greek. But through the resources that King James had, he had it translated into English, just like what you said. Give me that in the Zondervan Bible Dictionary now.
Right.
This is the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary.
Can you put the title, put up on the screen or no? Okay, good. Go ahead.
King James Version.
Come on.
When Elizabeth died in 1603, the crown passed to James I, who had been king of Scotland for 37 years.
Well, we just read in the book, in the history book that Cat brought out. Come on.
As James VI.
Uh-huh.
Several months after he ascended the throne of England, he authorized.
He did what?
Authorized.
No, he written.
He authorized.
He authorized because he had the power to do so. Come on.
A new translation of the Bible.
Come on.
To replace the Bishop's Bible.
Read.
47 of the best Hebrew and Greek scholars of the day were divided into 6 groups. 3 for the Old Testament.
Come on.
2 for the New. And 1 for the Apocrypha. 2 of the groups met at Oxford. 2 at Cambridge.
2 at what?
At Cambridge.
Wait, you mean to tell me that them people was black and looked like us?
Right.
Right.
That's the history that we bringing out, and all of this stuff is biblical prophecy that was bound to happen to wake our people up in the latter days.
Yeah.
So what? That wicked man to be revealed, like it's saying 2 Thessalonians.
Yeah. But, hey, drop that. Why is that compact thing still up there? They're crazy. But you see, even the Bible dictionary was telling you that these things were happening in Cambridge, in Oxford University, where our people were. Like this is like beautiful stuff. Absolutely. You know?
It's the synergy. That is incredible. Wow. I love that. I just took a shiver when he said Cambridge and Oxford.
Yeah.
Ow.
Yeah.
This is all of the scriptures. It's there. Yeah. This is our history.
Right.
You know, what they say is knowledge is power.
Right.
Yeah.
With this knowledge, we can bring the power back out of our people, and that's the goal.
Yeah.
The goal is to bring our people out of this dead state of mind.
Right.
You know.
Right. And as we move forward, right, and you have a lot of people creating schools, stuff like that, right? Independent schools. Books like this have to be there because you're not under the auspices of, let's say, here in America, like the Department of Education or right. So you can have these books in there, because they want you to fulfill a certain curriculum, right, in order to be a graduate. No, that's fine. But like you said, yeah, we'll do that work, right? They have to learn math. They have to learn certain science. They have to learn certain history. But guess what? This is going to be there. Right. No.
Absolutely.
This needs to be there, right? And others to let our kids know, hey, listen, this is where you come from. So although they're not going to take a state exam or a nationwide exam with this stuff, they're going to know inside, who they are as a people. And
it's so interesting when I know that I can probably relate to you when I say this, but once exposed to this, you're never the same again. In a good way.
Right.
Because everybody's name, I'm going to be bold now and make a statement that I can actually corroborate and I can back it up substantially because of the way I live with thousands of primaries around me.
Right.
That I would say that 98% of the surnames originate from a Black origin.
Oh yeah.
And that's an incredible statement to make, but I can say that because of all of the evidence and the research that I have done. And this is going to sound so flimsy and irrelevant, but even when you're watching shows like Judge Judy, I do sometimes just to decompress. Yeah. When the litigants come up and their names come up, I am transfixed on their surnames because most of the time I have a primary evidence to substantiate it from either Germany or Denmark or Britain.
Right.
And it's kind of a research exercise for me.
Right.
So these programs in real time are showing their origin. And most of the time, the Black individuals who are coming up with the surnames, they don't know that they are the true holders of the surname.
Absolutely.
They think they have a slave name. Now, just to clarify, They did become slave names, clearly, as history took us into that period.
Yes.
We have to not confuse that aspect, because what they removed was the foundational history, so that you didn't have that background information to say, but actually, no, that name is 1,000 years old. You see, they took that history away. But in the 15th and 16th century, when that slave period was in full effect, there was nothing else to base the language on, so that you saw the white person with that name, not knowing that it was from an original black origin.
Right.
Yeah, when you steal
everything, and the dictionaries are filling in that gap.
Yeah, when you steal everything, and you control and you have the power to do so, ain't nothing really nobody can do about it. Give me Job 9:24 right quick. Watch what God said.
This
they
is the
confused
book.
Everything. The word devil means deceiver, and they deceived the whole world. Watch this.
This is the book of Job, chapter 9 and verse 24.
Come on.
The earth is given into the hand of the wicked.
The power of the world is given into the hand of a particular wicked people. We read who the wicked was earlier in Malachi 1 and 4. It's the nation of Edom, the so-called white man. Go ahead.
He covereth the faces of the judges thereof.
And this man, he covers all of the faces of all of the people that were prolific in the world. Just like we going into all of the last names that we had. They conquered, took the power, and then painted themselves as that people. Go ahead.
Right. If not, where and who is he?
And if he ain't the one that did it, show me who did. Point me in the right direction of who did it. You can't, because it's written all over their face. Painted on white.
Right.
That's how it is.
Right. And Doc, she pointed you in the right direction, because the spoon, you asked,
Yeah.
point me in the right direction. She was spoon. With that spoon, we found out a lot of information.
Yeah, there you go.
Right.
That iconoclasm.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
He's
Yeah.
literally doing that work right now, repainting. Right. But before, we don't have that much time left, Doc. But before you go, I want to show this.
Yeah.
Now this is let's show the cover of this. It says, "What your school will never teach you." Foundational Black Britain, right? Okay. Now, we're going to open up, right? And let me see. So, I'm sorry. Let me talk back in the mic. So, this is page 100, right? No, this is page 101, okay? I'm going to read the bottom of it. I'm going to read the part because it's going to be hard for you to see, and then I'm going to show it, right? It says, Cromwell ordered the shipping of thousands of Irish and Scottish people to the original 13 British colonies. One such colony, Virginia, provides another powerful piece of evidence from the county militia rosters. In DeWitt Boxstruck's 1998 seminal text, Virginia's colonial soldiers, he lists hundreds of soldiers in 1755 by their skin color, nationality, and surnames. Right? Now, let's get this. Now, everybody watching, remember, these people are coming from Ireland and Scotland. Okay? Watch this. Go ahead. Try to get in as close as you can there, man. Okay. Got it? Okay, here go the mic. Okay, look at that. Look at the first. James Frazier, 5'9", dark, 35 years old, Highlander, farmer. James Conway, 5'8", brown, 40, Irish, shoemaker. Samuel Tate, 5'9", brown, 24, Irish smith. So what they're doing, they're giving you the look, the complexion of the person, right? So a brown-skinned guy, one is a little more darker brown, but they're giving the age, they're giving where they're from, right? And what's their profession. Like we were telling you before, they're not just taking some people swinging in trees.
Right.
They're bringing people who can do something, right? As you go down, those were the Irish. Now, when you look down, it says Thomas Carr, 5'4", and these guys are kind of short. Thomas Carr, 5'4", 40 years old, brown, from Scotland, and he's a piper, right? So this guy is a musician. Well, I hope. Well, maybe piper doesn't mean that. Is piper a musician?
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
That's right.
Right. And same for the next guy, Abraham Lowe, right? 40 Brown, Scotland, and Piper. There's about 4 to 5 pages of these names, brothers and sisters, right? So guess what? The people of Ireland, the people of Scotland, right? They were black people. This is what's being shown. And you weren't, and where they go into Virginia, right? So a lot of you people from Virginia, you weren't originally, your people didn't come from Africa in that slave trade. You came from somewhere else.
Yeah.
That's the point.
Yeah.
I remember when 50 Cent, the rapper, he had went down south. I guess his people are from Alabama. I can't remember where they're from. They're from somewhere down in the south. The white people who had his people in slavery, they went to that family. And she said, oh, well, yeah, his family. Now, when she said this, nobody understood what she was saying. She said, oh, yeah, well, they're not from Africa. They are with Mongolia. She mentioned they were from Mongolia. 50 was looking like, what the hell is she talking about? Everybody was like, she sounds like an idiot. But I was like, no. She's trying to tell you something.
Yeah.
You was from somewhere else. She has information that they don't have. She didn't expound on it. She just said, oh, their people are from Mongolia. Yeah. Meaning they were from some Afro-Asiatic, what people would call that today, right? So these are, Doc, this is beautiful stuff. We got to get you back at some point.
Yeah, man.
We got to get you back some point.
I think it would be good to, I mean, this has been wonderful, this conversation. Yeah. It's been wonderful for my soul. It really has, to have this edifying conversation. Yes. But I would like to come back and perhaps present some of my work in a PowerPoint.
Yeah. Yes, please.
Yeah. That would be quite nice. But I think this has been important, and it's just been wonderful for me. Even though I have to say I am exhausted, but you have given me a whoosh of extra energy just because the conversation was so wonderful.
We were hoping that would happen, because we heard you say that you were tired. We were like, tired?
Exhausted.
We were like, tired? Okay, we're going to put some energy into the system because we know how it is. We know how it is. We've been up since last. I mean, we didn't go through the whole night, but we had to wake up extra early, obviously, to be here to see you. Because we were like really excited. Because remember, we just looking at these books and we're not thinking about it. Then we were like, wait a minute, let's try to get her on the show. We need to talk to this lady. This is incredible. But Doc, I just want to say thank you. We have to we're gonna reschedule you or schedule you again to come on and do your thing. And I think that's what the people would love to see that.
What would be great, I can say this provisionally, wouldn't it be great if I could come on and perhaps do a brand new kind of revelation or revealing of part 3?
Oh, yeah.
It's so powerful.
Excellent. When are you going to be done?
You know, if I really, really put my skates on, I could get this done within the next 4 days. It's going to be 250 pages of pure primary source evidence that is going to blow you away. Oh no, we need it. We need it, Doc. We're going to be in contact. Listen, on the 4th day, we're going to be like, right, where you at? Yeah. Are you finished in there? Know what? you know, I'm kind of, if you could imagine my frustration, because I want to get out. I want to get the German dictionary out. I want to get the French one out. I want to get the Spanish one out, because it's all there waiting for me to just put it together.
Right.
So I'm frustrated that I have to be patient.
Right.
But I want to steam and get these other nations and the dictionaries put out, because it will just change the game.
Oh man, we can't wait. Yeah. We can't wait. We can't sleep.
We definitely trying to change the game.
Yeah.
Definitely try to change the game.
No, absolutely. Yeah. So listen, we're gonna let you put up your talk about your social media, where people can find you and things like that. But we just want to show the books, these 3 that we have here. This is the one I want. Okay, so this is the first one. All right. Let me read it. All right, Dictionary of Foundational Black British Surnames, the People, Places, and Their Primacy, Part 1. All right, Baratanac, Britain, Ingles, England. Okay.
And that is the Maynell family on the front, a very prominent Yorkshire family, landowners.
Okay. Okay. And then there's a part 2.
The Coopers. Right. That's the Coopers.
Okay. All right. So this book has the same name. Okay. It just says part 2. All right. And we will let you guys know where to get it. And this one is What Your School Will Never Teach You. Okay.
And that is the Irish family, and that name has gone now. So the fatigue is really coming down on me now.
That's all right. That's all right. So what is your because we'd like to put up do you have a social media handle?
I have I'm on YouTube. I have my own channel, Dr. Marie Charles. If you just put that in YouTube, that will come up. That has a lot of the earlier videos. There's a lot of onomastics in Europe.
Right.
Czech Republic is a good one, Germany, and so on. People can contact me if you'd like to send me an email. I'm at YellowAugust at hot. There we go.
There you go.
Brilliant. That is the YouTube channel, and you can send me an email at YellowAugust@hotmail.com.
Okay.
And that's and of course all my publications are available on Amazon.
Yes. Yep. Can we bring that up as well? Bring up her Amazon link just so people can see it. I'm looking at it right now. This is excellent.
And people have been, so kind in their reviews. Some people are trying to sabotage the work, I have to say.
Oh, they're gonna do that for sure.
Yeah, that's fine. They have to do their job.
Exactly.
Yeah, you can't have the positive without the negative. You got to have it. All right.
Yeah.
So, brothers and sisters, you can go to Amazon and just put in Dr. Marie Charles. All her books will pop up, and you can start gathering them. Right. Especially those 3 we talked about, and Doctor's working on the 3rd one that she's trying to finish soon. That we'll be knocking on her door about.
Yeah.
And and it's excellent. So, Dr. Marie Charles, we want to say thank you again.
Thank you
for being gracious with your time. We know, we know it's a rough one for you, but we appreciate your time. Okay,
Thank you.
And we're gonna be in contact to try to stay on top of you, see when you're done, and bring you back, because we need to have you back on to discuss that 3rd one. This is just like great stuff. All right.
And thank you for telling me your surname. That is so important. You say that roots you. It places you in those confines of Scotland, and Saint Andrew, who was a wonderful priest, a saintly figure. Thank you for that.
Okay. Hey, you know how it goes. All right.
Thank you. Thank you. Right. Lovely to meet you all. Take care now.
Okay, you as well. All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right.
Yeah, that was some good stuff.
Oh, yeah, that was
excellent.
That was good, man.
Excellente. Bro, that sounds like a wine. What is that? Right. Let me get some of that excellente.
Yeah. Hey, that's exactly the stuff we need, man, for the youth violence seminars.
Yep.
They gonna hate it. They gonna hate the work.
Oh, yeah.
Man. Doc,
100%.
Don't be
discouraged.
No,
I don't
they're
think
going to hate the work.
No.
Hell, they got us high up on the list.
Yeah.
They got us 3rd.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't think she don't care about none of that.
She don't give a damn.
Yeah, she don't care about none
That's
of that.
Good.
She's
That's
bringing
good
it
work.
forth.
Yeah, she got a passion.
Yeah, exactly. But this is the beautiful thing we were talking about, and the same thing we were talking about with Dr. Lulu on the last show, right? About his love for his people.
Right.
Exactly.
That's why you do what you do. Same thing with us. Love for our people. That's why we do what we do. We out there teaching. We out here, bringing our people with community. We bridging the gap. Right. To show that love. Hey, listen, this is us. This is our people. Now, we learned this originally from the bishops and the deacons, primarily Bishop Nathaniel and Bishop Yawasop, and Deacon Ithon is very big on it, so on and so forth, and that was what kicked it off, right? And you know, Deacon Athon, you know, he got hidden history, so he goes into a bunch of stuff. But it's great to have, you know, to deal with the scholars, the ones who are really putting in that time. This is a beautiful thing, man. It's a beautiful thing.
Just imagine if she take that spoon like she was talking about and dig a little deeper. That's our history. That's the real original deal of the Israelite history, because that's right up under where she at.
Yeah, no, it's going to happen. I think that's where it's going to go.
It's a snowball.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you can't get away from it. That was when remember she brought out about the priests coming from France and going up.
Right, I'm already churning.
That's where those priests. That's where they're coming from, that line. But remember, our people started to get into Christianity and Catholicism, and it started to get crazy,
right?
You know, and that's where it's coming from. But all praise to the Lord. This was a beautiful thing, man. It was a beautiful thing. Man, hey, I got one more, man.
I'm excited.
Let me just grab one more scripture, man.
Yeah, I got one too, man. I got changing the game, man.
Yeah,
that's exactly what we're trying to do.
Of course.
And this research is the beginning of us changing the game. What game are we changing? The hands of rulership. Give me Deuteronomy chapter 30 and verse 1.
Go ahead.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 30 and verse 1.
Come on.
And it shall come to pass, when all these things are come upon thee,
Come on.
the blessing and the curse,
Come on.
which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind.
Call them to mind means you have to remember. You have to go down into that deep rabbit hole of history and call to mind what you were before you became that Negro, that nigga, that coon. Go ahead.
Among all the nations.
Amongst everybody. So no matter who watching, you got to learn who you are in front of everybody who's watching. Come on.
Whither the Lord thy God hath driven thee.
Like we've been driven to America. She's been driven to Europe. Well, where's she at? In the UK, right?
The UK, yeah.
In the UK. But all of this information is coming together beautifully. And we recalling ourselves right here in the mind of all of the nations. Come on.
And shalt return unto the Lord thy God.
Not only remember who you are, but return to the script, the scripts. Come on.
And shalt obey his voice.
Come on.
According to all that I command thee this day.
Watch how you going to flip the script.
Thou and thy children with all thine heart.
Come on.
And with all thy soul.
Read.
That then the Lord thy God will turn thy captivity.
And when we do these things, that's when the Lord gonna change the game. He gonna turn it back over to where we back on the top. Like Cap said, all of this stuff is coming to an end.
Yeah.
Rome came to an end. America's coming to an end. Like Judah said, we going back to the top like it was. God said these little guidelines have to be met. You have to recall who you are, and not only recall who you are, but keep the commandments as it is written, and then the script is going to be flipped right side up again.
Right. No, that's absolutely, we're going to stay right there. Give me Zechariah 5. Right? Because in order to flip the script, something has to happen. You know, something has to happen. And this is going to happen right here. Go ahead.
You want verse 1, Cap?
Yep.
Zechariah chapter 5 and verse 1. Then I turned and lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll.
Right, that's that chariot. Go ahead.
And he said unto me, what seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll. The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof is 10 cubits.
Come on.
Then said he unto me, this is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth.
Right, this is the curse that goeth over the face of the whole earth. Go ahead.
For everyone that stealeth.
For everyone that stealeth. Go ahead.
Shall be cut off, as on this side according to it.
Go ahead.
And every one that sweareth shall be cut off, as on that side according to it.
When he's talking about everybody that steals, it's not talking about people who's stealing some gum and a Snickers bar out of the store and all of that. That's not what the stealing is talking about. Watch this. Go ahead, read on.
I will bring it forth, saith the Lord of hosts, and it shall enter into the house of the thief.
What shall enter? That flying roll is going to enter into the house of the thief. Who's the thief? That's Esau. Yep. We read about him in Obadiah 1. In Obadiah earlier, right? That if a thief come to you by night, would he not have stolen until he had enough? The Lord said, I'm going to send my chariot into the house of the thief. Go ahead. That means to the whole nation of Esau. That's what it's talking about. Go ahead.
And into the house of him that sweareth falsely by my name.
Right. saying stuff like
We the Jews.
Yeah, it's we the Jews, and also saying things like what's America's logo? God, in God we trust. Things like that. Fake. Go ahead.
And it shall remain in the midst of his house.
Go ahead.
And shall consume it with the timber thereof and the stones thereof.
That's it. Right? That thief, he gonna get dealt with.
Yeah.
That thief is gonna get dealt with.
Yeah.
You know?
And like prior shows, they trying to stop that flying roll from entering into the house.
Yeah, exactly.
Because once they get there, it's
Right.
a wrap.
Right.
No, 100%.
Not
Like,
leaving.
right. You said like prior shows. That's what we was talking about with what's our sister name? From NASA. Right? And in the other show we had, we talked about Donald Trump putting a nuclear facility up there, trying to be able to stop the chariot. Listen, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah, he coming in.
Yeah.
That flying roll is going to get here, and once it's here, it ain't no turning it back.
No,
you know?
game over.
And we the sign that it's on the way.
That's right.
Yep.
Remember what the Lord said in Revelation 7, that he got to hold the angels back.
Yeah.
They're like, yo, when we getting this shot? Like, how long we want to do something?
Right.
The angels up there like, how long shall this endure?
Right.
right.
They're like, Lord, what you made me for?
Right.
You know? But all praises. That was an excellent show.
World.
Hey, the Booster Club.
Oh, damn. Cat.
Huh? You had something?
Of course.
You got a knuckleball?
All right, come on.
Yeah. All right, Amos chapter 8, verse 11. Let's get it. Be quick.
right.
Amos 8 and what?
And verse 11.
Yes, sir.
About to wrap up. I just want that, and then I want one more. Isaiah 61.
Yeah, come on, man.
This is the
I'm
book
pushing the envelope.
of Isaiah chapter 8 and verse 11.
Come on.
Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread,
Yep.
nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of the Lord.
For a long time, we didn't have no understanding. We didn't have our images. We didn't have who we were supposed to be, so we didn't know. So what that sister's doing, she bringing it back, right? Go to Isaiah 61 and 1. But what it got to be coupled with is the laws of God, right? So what she just brought out, when we go in the Bible, we understand King James was black. We understand everybody in the Dark Ages was black. Now people thirsty, they hungry, and what we got for them is this, Isaiah 61 and 1.
Isaiah chapter 61 and verse 1. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because the Lord hath anointed me to preach good tidings unto the meek.
Right, because all those who feel like they're in lower state, we lifting up their spirit with this word of God. When that word of God connects to that history and you see, we are the people that the book is talking about, it make you feel good on the inside. Go ahead.
He hath sent me to bind up the brokenhearted.
Right, because all of us have been broken here, but we getting restored. Read.
To proclaim liberty to the captives.
Freedom. Go ahead.
And the opening of the prison to them that are bound.
Right. So at the end of the day, we're going to get released from this jail, which you call America, by knowing our history. It's a long time we didn't have it, and now we're getting it back. So all praises, man. That came together of the Lord.
Yeah, all praises, man. We had some other stuff we could have brought out, like
Bunch.
We'll save it. Some other, the origin of the Anglo-Saxon race, things of that nature. We'll save it. I think maybe we should. Yeah.
We're gonna hold on to
we're
that.
gonna hold on to it because we got the sis coming back on, and hey, listen, man, she about to break out that book to us for the first time. That's gonna be crazy. We about to debut that.
Don't
Bring
bring
it out.
Yeah, that's gonna be beautiful. All praises.
Beautiful, man.
Yeah, we praise the Lord for that thing.
But back to it. Yeah, there you go. There
The
you go.
Booster Club. Hey, y'all make sure y'all send what y'all can to the Booster Club, the Isaiah 11:11 Project. All right, we out there trying to gather the 12 tribes back together again by pushing this word through the earth. All right, give what y'all can. All right, help us with the flights, help us with hotels and food and so on. All right, so all praise to the Lord. Give what y'all can. All right, Isaiah 11:11 Project. Also, save a couple of coins for us and donate and support the show, the Nehemiah Squad. Lord willing, y'all enjoying what y'all getting here. All right, there goes the QR code. Hit that, or just send it to iuic.norcal@israelunite.org.
Yeah.
Woo. All right, and okay, so next week, right, next Monday, we're going to have Before the Holocaust, the African Genocide, okay? Yeah. And this guest is called Jephthah Ngorimo, right? Now, this is going to be incredible because it's going to show how Germany, before they went in, the Nazis, before they went in and went and did their genocidal work, right, on those people, that they first went into Namibia, okay, and did, how can I say, a trial run.
Yeah.
Right? And this is incredible. This brother, he wrote a documentary, filmed it, and we said, hey, we got to have him on. And we're going to get into some real good stuff. Some stuff that's not even in the documentary I spoke to him about, and we about to get in there. We about to do it. It's going to be a real good show. Make sure y'all tune in. October 27th, y'all already know, 8:30 Pacific Standard Time. Come on. Okay? So with that.
Yo.
Duck, it's a precept.
Yeah, get that precept, bro. What's wrong with you?
This is the book of Nehemiah, chapter 13 and verse 21.
Go ahead.
Then I testified against them and said unto them, why lodge ye about the wall? If ye do so again, I will lay hands on you.
If you do this thing again, we got to lay hands on you. If you keep on stealing our identity, we got to lay hands on you. If you don't donate here to the Booster Club, we got to lay hands on you. And keep that up. Keep that stealing up. Woe unto you that steal. The Lord gonna lay hands on you.
Right.
Hey, this is the Nehemiah Squad. We are your hosts. I'm Officer Shim. That's Captain Zakai, Officer Judah, Officer JDL. We out.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Most